Good morning, students. We will talk about physiology of nose today. In this lecture, we will have idea about the function of nose, nasal cavity and nasal cavity mucosa. There are mainly 6 functions of nose and nasal cavity proper. First is respiration, second is air conditioning of the inspired air. When we inspire air, that will pass from the nose to the larynx to the trachea. So nose will help in air conditioning, humidification of the inspired air. Whenever we inspire air, that will also contain some foreign material. Nose will help in removal of that foreign material by protection of the lower airway. It will also help in vocal resonance and development of vocal resonance from the said speech. There are different nasal reflexes available which help in our protection and different physiological mechanism in our body. Last function by nose is the olfaction, by which we can smell the substance. We will talk about all these functions one by one. First is respiration. During the quiet inspiration, most of the air current passes through middle part of the nose. Middle part of the nose is mainly between the septum and middle turbinate. So whenever weak odorous substances which have very small odor, very weak odor, or they produce very weak odor particles, they need to be snipped very highly. Before that they can reach up to the olfactory area, because our olfactory area is situated over the cribriform plate. So weak odorous substance have to be snipped thoroughly so that they can reach up to the cribriform plate and we can have the smell of the weak odorous substances. In this diagram you can see that lamellar flow will pass from the middle part of the nose mainly. During the expiration, friction is applied by the laminae nasi to the air current, and there will be formation of the eddy currents under cover of the middle and inferior turbinate. This will ventilate the sinuses through the ostia. In this diagram you can see there is formation of the eddy current. Here you can see the dotted line are the inferior turbinate, middle turbinate and superior turbinate. Whenever a current of air passes from nasopharynx to the nasal cavity, there will be formation of eddy current into the nose, and this eddy current will pass into the different sinuses through ostia, and this eddy current will help in ventilation of different sinuses like maxillary sinus, ethmoidal sinuses, frontal sinus and sphenoid sinus. Nasal cycle. Nasal mucosa undergoes rhythmical cyclical congestion and decongestion every 2.5 to 4 hours, and thus it will control the airflow through the different nasal chambers. So this is the diagram showing lamellar flow during the inspiration and eddy currents during the expiration. Second function is air conditioning of the inspired air. Nose is usually called the air conditioner of the lungs because the first air will pass from the nose to the trachea. By air conditioning, it causes filtration and purification, temperature control of the inspired air and humidification of the inspired air. Front of the nose usually contains vibrissae or hair follicle over the vestibule. This vibrissae help in filtration of the particles up to the 3 micrometer. After that, nasal cavity mucosa usually secrete mucosal and serous secretions, and there is formation of mucus traps all over nasal cavity from anterior to the posterior part of nasopharynx. These nasal mucus traps will trap the particles fine up to the 0.5 to 3 micrometer. and particle less than 0.5 micrometer can reach up to the lungs. Temperature control. Mucous membrane of the nasal cavity is highly vascular with cavernous venous spaces or sinusoids over the middle and inferior turbinate. It can increase or decrease the size of the turbinate, and by this mechanism it causes the it is known as the radiator mechanism of the nose. It will increase the temperature of the air if it is less than 37 degree, and it will decrease the temperature of the inspired air if it is more than 37 degree. So 37 degree temperature is maintained in the inspired air by the nasal cavity, and when we inspire that air from the nasal cavity to the lungs, the temperature will be 37 degree, whether it is cold or hot outside of the body. Humidification. By humidification, nasal mucosal membrane adjusts the relative humidity of the 75% or more. Water is usually provided by the nasal mucosal membrane to provide the humidity, and about 1 liter of water is evaporated daily from the nasal cavity mucosa. So this is all about air conditioning function of the nose. Third function is protection of the lower airway. We have already seen that by filtration and purification, nasal cavity and nose helps in filtration and purification of the inspired air, and by that it causes lower respiratory tract protection. Other mechanism is mucociliary mechanism or the nasal mucosal trap mechanism. There are many secretory globulate cell and secretory glands into the nasal cavity mucosa. They will secrete the mucus and serous secretions, and by this secretion there will be formation of the conveyor belt. Conveyor belt is mainly made up of two layers. First is a mucosal layer, second is serous layer, and they both layers are situated just above the cilia. These are the cilia. This is the first layer, and this is the second layer. This cilia will move towards the nasopharynx with effective stroke, which is rapid, and a slow recovery stroke. Movement is toward nasopharynx with the speed of 5 to 10 mm per minute, and complete sheet of mucus go into the nasopharynx every 10 to 20 minutes with the inspired bacteria, virus and debris. 600 to 700 ml of nasal secretion are produced in 24 hours. Cilia beat 10 to 20 times per second. They have rapid effective stroke and slow recovery stroke. Movement of cilia are affected by drying, drugs, excessive heat or cold, smoking, infections and fumes. In immotile cilia, here in this diagram you can see that this is the anterior part and this is the posterior part. So cilia will beat from anterior to posteriorly towards this side, and by this they have rapid effective stroke and slow recovery stroke. By this mechanism, this whole sheet of mucus will go into the nasopharynx, and whenever this sheet of mucus go into the nasopharynx, the trapped viruses, bacteria or foreign particle into the superficial layer will also go into the nasopharynx. So this is the main mechanism of conveyor belt. In immotile cilia syndrome, that is a genetic disease, cilia are defective and cannot beat effectively. So there will be stagnation or collection of mucus secretion and different diseases in sinuses and lungs. Enzymes and immunoglobulins. Nasal cavity mucosa secretes muramidase-like enzymes which can kill bacteria and viruses which are trapped in nasal mucosal trap. They also secrete IgA, IgE antibody and interferon which provide immunity and also play a role in allergic reactions. Third function or third part, that is sneezing, from which it causes protection of the lower airway. Sneezing is a protective reflex by which whenever we have foreign particle in our inspired air that can irritate the nasal mucosa, sneezing occurs as a protective reflex, and that foreign particle will go outside of the nose, and by that our nose will protect the lower respiratory tract. The pH of nasal secretion is nearly 7. Cilia and lysozyme act best at this pH. So the pH is also helpful in conduction of the function of the cilia and lysozyme. Fourth function is vocal resonance. Nose acts as a resonating chamber for the speech production. M, N and NG are nasal consonants. Sound passes through the nasopharyngeal isthmus and is emitted through the nose. When nose is blocked due to nasal obstruction or sinusitis or polyp, speech becomes denasal. So M, N and NG are uttered as B, D, G respectively. So that is known as hyponasality or rhinolalia clausa. Reverse occurs in velopharyngeal insufficiency. So that will be known as hypernasality or rhinolalia aperta. Fifth function is carried by different nasal reflexes. One of the reflexes, smell of a palatable food, causes reflex secretion of the saliva and gastric juice from oral cavity and stomach respectively. Irritation of the nasal mucosa causes sneezing, that we have already talked about. Nasal obstruction leads to the increased pulmonary resistance via nasopulmonary reflex, and that can develop pulmonary hypertension or cor pulmonale. So whenever we have a patient with long-standing nasal obstruction, that needs to be corrected as early as possible to prevent the development of pulmonary hypertension or cor pulmonale. Nasal packing done for mainly epistaxis and post-nasal surgery leads to lowering of the pressure of oxygen in the lungs, which can return to normal after removal of nasal pack. Last function is olfaction, that is smell sensation. That is mainly carried by olfactory tract, olfactory pathway. Olfactory pathway is mainly situated over the roof of the nose in the cribriform plate. This cribriform plate is pierced by the axons of the primary olfactory neuron. This primary olfactory neuron usually situated over the olfactory mucosa, over the septum and over the lateral wall of nose also. This axons will pierce the cribriform plate and will attach to the axons of the secondary olfactory cells or mitral and tufted cells. This mitral and tufted cell will form the secondary olfactory neuron, and that will go into the anterior olfactory nucleus. From that it will form the olfactory tract, and this will go into the lateral olfactory stria and prepiriform cortex and amygdaloid nucleus in the brain. Some of the neurons will also go into the anterior commissure and to the opposite olfactory tract. So this is all anatomy about the olfactory pathway. So main cells are primary olfactory neuron, secondary olfactory neuron, followed by secondary olfactory axons, followed by olfactory tract and anterior olfactory tract. Smell sensation is important for enjoying the taste of food and pleasure in the human population. It is less developed than lower animals because it is more useful in lower animals for the survival function. When nose is blocked, food tastes bland and becomes unpalatable. Our nose is blocked mainly by nasal obstruction, polyps, sinusitis, DNS, and there are many other causes which can cause the blockage of the nose. Because of blockage, the smell particle will not be able to reach up to the cribriform plate and we will not be able to have the smell sensation of the food or any other substance. How can we taste this smell sensation? We can ask the patient to smell the common odors like lemon, rose, garlic for each side of nose respectively. Vapors of ammonia can never be used to taste the smell sensation because they can stimulate the trigeminal nerve and cause irritation. This is the olfactory pathway we have talked about. There are different disorders of smell. One is anosmia, that is absence of smell, which is seen in nasal obstruction like nasal polypi, enlarged turbinate or rhinitis. Hyposmia is decreased smell sensation. Another causes for anosmia or parosmia, hyposmia are neural causes because this olfactory neuron, secondary olfactory neuron and olfactory tract, they all are made up of nerves. So whenever there is a disease which affect the neural system, that can cause the disorder of smell. So peripheral neuritis, that can be toxic or influential, that can cause the disorder of smell like anosmia or hyposmia. Fracture of anterior cranial fossa or cribriform plate or intracranial lesions like abscess, tumor or meningitis, which can compress the cribriform plate and olfactory tract, that can develop the disorder of smell. Parosmia, that is perversion of smell, in which odors are interpreted as incorrectly. That will be because of misdirected regeneration of the neurons in the olfactory pathway. This is usually seen in post-influenza and intracranial tumors. So this lecture is all about physiology and function of the nose and nasal cavity. Thank you.